What is going on, everyone's? We are here and we are back with another episode of
Is My Point Valid?
Yes, indeed. I'm yours truly, Brandon D.
I am Camille A. Stocker.
And the topic for today is going to be
Black people traded family for activism.
Yes, indeed. So Black families was a major thing before the civil rights. And I think it was, what was Angela Davis who said that our parents went from being intellectuals to being activists. And I believe that's what
their parents were intellectuals, workers. The parents were hard workers. The children
became activists in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's probably one of the main reasons why the Black family deconstructed. We have all these Black fathers out here fighting things that really we shouldn't have been fighting for. You should have been at the highs with your family, taking care of your wife and your kids, instead of out here in these streets fighting water hoses and dogs and all kind of stuff, trying to impede on things that really had nothing to do with nothing.
But mind you, it wasn't okay. So it was Martin Luther King Jr., Ralph Abernathy. There were a lot of those men who were, saying, well, you have to fight for your rights. So their target was not the Black men. Their target was the children. Go to the college campuses. Your daddy may have worked on a farm or maybe doing this, and you don't have to do this. Your daddy may be a plumber or whatever, but you're going to college because you are intellectually smart, right? You don't have to do those things. And how do you win your power? Well, you go out and you let people spit on you and you let the dogs tear you up.
And hold your fist up.
Which a lot of those things were staged. They knew when to.
They were professional agitators.
Yes, to go into those cities and when the cameras will come and when the police were going to come. Like a lot of it was staged, just like today, how a lot of it is staged.
Yeah.
Meet at this place. Mm-hmm. And so that was happening.
We're going to have all the signs ready and everything. It's going to be professional.
So also it was not only were they going to college campuses and, because Martin Luther King Jr. knew Stokely Carmichael, or Touré, as he changed his name. But then there was also the Children's Crusade, which was where basically Martin Luther King Jr. assembles children to go out into the streets and protest. And so it makes it look like, oh, look, the children, the children are out there and they don't care about the children. And so the Children's Crusade that happened, and he had children like not go to school, skip school and all these things. So we look at these pictures and we frame it like, oh my goodness, it's so bad. But it was all set up for us to feel emotionally, for us to be like, oh my goodness, because Martin Luther King Jr., I'm saying him because it's the face. It was other people involved. So I'm saying him because everybody knows his name, everybody knows his face, and he has a day after him. But so he didn't preach family. He preached, we got to get to the mountaintop. He didn't preach, husbands, stay with your wives and raise your children.
He didn't even live that life.
He didn't live the life, but he taught division in the family. You don't have to listen to your parents. Mm-hmm. And so kids grew up going to college, wearing the Black and Panthers and Black activists and all this other stuff. And you have to, I don't want to use assimilate, but you do. You can't go into an office space and we're all Black. I'm Black and I'm proud. Like, the place of business. So
that's them people's place of business.
That was just my quick little history thing, that there was integrity because Black men and women worked before the civil rights. Then you had somebody come in and say, well, they owe you. Yeah, they owe you.
You don't got to work for it. They owe you.
So of course it's always deeper than, but you read books and to understand that this was not for the betterment of Black people. As today we see there was a lot of Brandon said, deconstruction. It was, well, I don't have to listen to you. Yeah, I ever watched The Butler? Oh my goodness, I really like that movie. But you see how he works for the presidents of the United States, and his son is like an activist.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, he's
Causing
like,
them problems.
right. And then at the end, he's like, well, I want to be with you. You know, I'll do this. But that loses me because, like, no, you worked to make sure that his behind went to college, but he was out here doing silly things, fighting for rights. But
ain't no rights gone.
Yeah. They trying to take them away.
I heard somebody on the radio say that.
Taking away our
They're
rights.
taking away our rights. What rights? Name them. Tell me, please. But I digress.
Yeah, sorry.
We're going to go ahead and let Apostle Thomas Quick. And first off, I do want to say this. I don't believe in apostles, but that is a conversation for another time. We'll get into that later. But my boy makes some valid points here, and we're going to listen to him on what happened to the black family. Let's get into it.
We had an activism that started right after we were freed as slaves. Men drove and walked miles and miles to find their wives and their children that they had been separated from. That was activism. And then they went to work. That was activism. They raised their own food and fed their families. They started their own schools and educated their children. And then before long, they were building their own businesses, their own hospitals. That was the activism that said, don't give me nothing, just get out of my way, and I'll do it. That was activism. But we left off the family and went to marching and fighting the government and fighting the different aspects of society. And then we forgot the family, and guess what happened? We went from 25% of our babies being fatherless to 72%, while we are electing black officials that sell us out and tell us to kill our babies and tell us we can cut off our little boys' thing. I don't need that activism.
Are you looking to start your own business? Well, look no further than...
I don't need that activism either. That's the kind of activism none of us need. But that's exactly what happened. I hate to say the civil rights was something that was not beneficial, but the more I get into it, it seems like there was more negative benefits than there was positive. It's almost like smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, because some of us ain't never smoked a cigarette.
It feels good when you inhaling it, but them long-term effects don't kill you. What we got going on here is foolishness.
And to go back to what I was saying before the video, Martin Luther King is, people still talk about him today. People still talk about, you know, the speech, I have a dream, but they only know that part, right? We're little black kids and little white kids. Y'all only know that part. I don't think you've ever read the entirety of it. I don't think you ever read the letter of him when he's writing it in jail. Have you read any of his books to see that there wasn't the idea of what he was trying to do, which is rooted in Marxism and socialism? I'm not going to say he was a socialist. I don't know if he was or not. I know he was not a Christian. I know that much.
Yeah, we know that much.
But what he was saying was rooted in socialism, and it was directed at Black people. But if we see what socialism does, and if you know what socialism is, it doesn't jump high. Like, it'll get you, but then reality is like, well, we don't live in this world. We can't do this. And Apostle Tommy Quick says that, you know, we had schools, and I read a book, and I can never remember the book because I always say I have a book. I can not remember the book's name, but in that you saw a lot of Black education rooted in Marxism and socialism as well. Why? Because they were following the blueprint that Martin Luther King Jr. had put out. They were reaching out to him and all these things. Well, how did that hinder? And once again, I'm never saying that integration is not a good thing, but it was forced integration. Segregation is bad, but there's still segregation today. You won't call it out because it's just not, I just, that's my people. No, you're kind of following Jim Crow, and there's no Jim Crow laws. Like, honest.
You've been indoctrinated.
Yes. And it's indoctrination, but it's brainwashing because every year those things are repeated to you, and then you take it in, and when you hear something different to like what we're saying, or what Chad O. Jackson is saying, or what April Chapman is saying, or Vincent Ellis.
Something like that.
Vincent.
Oh, Vincent.
Man, I'm gonna get the man's name right? Or Blanchard. They're saying it, but there are other people saying it too. They're saying it because not to like, oh, we need to degrade Martin Luther King. No, that man said about character. And we can look at people's character today and it's flawed. You can look at Black children today and they don't know how to read. They don't know how to write and complete sentences. They can't speak and look you in the eye. They don't know how to handshake. Like, those things are important.
It seems like we're the best at the worst things.
But not even to compare against other people. Just where is that integrity? Where is that that like, what did Jesse Jackson say? I am somebody, right? You are somebody, but why don't we act like we are somebody? Why are we so passive with these things? Why aren't we taking the initiative to make sure that our children are learning? Why do I have to send them off to make sure that somebody else is doing it? Why do we blame women for being pregnant when we have 100% say in what we do with our bodies and do not see? And I can do what I want with my body, my choice, right? Mm-hmm. But you choose to lay down and have babies with a man who has told you that they don't want anything to do with you. Right. And like, ouch, it hurts. But these people tell us, Maya Angelou said this, when people tell you who they are, believe them. And we have a tendency to not believe because we want, man, they wouldn't do me like that. No. They wouldn't do me like that.
John.
What does the Bible tell us? We're not good
at all.
Our hearts are deceitful.
There's evil in all of us.
In all of us.
It just hadn't been revealed.
So I say all of that to say, like, we are somebody because God created us all, but also we don't have to follow these leaders' blueprint of what happened. Follow God's blueprint of what the family was. Not because you're Black, not because you're white, but what does God say that the family should consist of? And how should you raise your children? Diligently. How should you run your home? You know, there's a guideline, there's a manual for how that is done. And we find ourselves looking at what man says, and it's flawed because man is flawed.
Yeah. When you start out on a shaky foundation, you build shaky.
Yes.
So you need to start on a solid foundation. They call that a cornerstone.
And yes, because Jesus is the cornerstone. And you also want to, I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, because I was like, Jesus, cornerstone.
You also need to find Jesus. That's what you were going to say.
Yeah, that's not what I was going to say. I just wanted to, you want to find people who, if you do look at a man and you're like, okay, yeah, you want to look at people and what they stood for. And I'm bringing Martin Luther King up into it again because he didn't stand for family.
But he was the first person to tell you that you should be judged by the content of your character and not the color of your skin. But it seems like we flip that around because we'll just go with people based on the color of their skin. And when you bring up the content of their character, we're offended.
Yes.
Like we don't want to know the truth.
And activism isn't going to save you.
No, protesting is not going to do anything.
Family will.
Straight up.
What if?
Because
What if everybody just focused on their families? Like, what if everybody just stayed home, right? What if everybody just stayed home? Don't go to the ICE protest. Don't do nothing. Just stay home. What if you had dinner with your children? What if you went into the backyard and played with your children? You're so busy in your family, you don't even know what's happening out there. What if we all did that? What would happen?
Community. Straight up. But hey, what y'all think, chat?
Yeah.
What leave y'all comments. Leave y'all comments. We're gonna be reading all of them. We want to know what y'all think, how y'all feel.
Are our points valid?
Are our points valid?
Are we not making sense? Am I too hard on Martin Luther King Jr.?
Let us know what y'all think. We want to hear from you.
Hard on the black community.
The community.
The community.
But with all that being said, we're gonna go ahead and get up out of here. So, like always, it is love, peace, soul, and Jesus. One time for your mind.
I almost forgot.